All right. Uh, Good morning, everyone. This is Kate Lambert-Lee with MWR, and today we're going to be talking about Universal Orlando. And Stephen is going to be the presenter. He is the business manager for DLA's Morel Welfare and Recreation Office in Battle Creek. He has been for the past 9 years. He's been with DLA for 20 years, 19 of those with MWR. He's worked for leisure travel for the last 12 years and has been a CLIA certified cruise counselor for 10 years. In 2015, Stephen won DLA's MWR Facility and Program Excellence Award. He holds a BA in Tourism and from Western Michigan University. In his free time, he enjoys traveling, especially cruising, also watching more than 100 movies each year in theaters, which might be different this year. But with all of that, Stephen has always been able to answer any questions I have on any travel and leisure. And I really appreciate his knowledge and the help he's been able to provide. Welcome, Stephen.
Thanks, Kate, and thanks everyone for joining today. I see we still have some people hopping on. Please bear with us. The network seems to be a little bit slow, so as we transition from slide to slide, there may be a bit of a delay, so please just bear with us there. But, soak in the information. Feel free to use the public chat if you are on the chat session to type in any questions you may have, and we'll get started here. So, as Kate said, we're going to be featuring our friend in Florida right now, Universal Orlando Resort. And for those of you who may have never been, feel free to ask any questions and I'll try to answer them if possible. All right. So as we move on to the next slide here, so Universal Studios Orlando is actually in Orlando. Most people think that Disney World is in Orlando, and it's not. It's outside of Orlando at Lake Buena Vista, but Universal Studios is in Orlando, and so they have 3 parks here at Universal Orlando Resort, and those parks are called Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay, which is their water park, and they also have another feature called City Walk with lots of restaurants and other attractions. So we'll get to that here coming up in the presentation. Universal Orlando Resort also has lots of resorts, and we will be going over those coming up here soon as well. All right, so the features of Universal Studios Florida. So in 2015, I believe it was, they opened up Diagon Alley, which is a Harry Potter themed section of the park. And one of the main attractions within that, one of the main rides in that, is the Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. We also have Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. That's also one of the newer rides. Men in Black Alien Attack, which is one of my favorite rides. If you've ever ridden the Toy Story ride at Toy Story Land, and at Disney, it's similar where you shoot, actually this one shoots laser beams at aliens and you earn points throughout the ride. It is a bit extreme, so if you are have neck or back issues, it does kind of jerk and spin quite a bit, but it is a fun ride, very competitive. You compete against the other people that are in your cart. Simpsons ride is another 3D, actually it's a 4D experience because you're actually getting scent and water and stuff kind of splashed on you. You're not going to get wet, so don't worry about getting like super, you're not going to get soaked or anything. But part of that ride is you're on a roller coaster and the journey just becomes crazy. The track gets all destroyed and there's water and things that are kind of splashed around. So you will get a little bit of a splash, but nothing that's going to soak you. E.T. Adventure, which is one of their oldest rides. Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. That's a roller coaster that you play music as the roller coaster goes, and you get to choose which music you want to play. Shrek 4D is more of a theater experience, so you're going to sit and watch a 4D show. Fast and the Furious Supercharged is one of the newer rides, and the Bourne Stuntacular, which is their newest ride. All right, so we're going to be moving on to Islands of Adventure. So the Wizarding World of Harry Potter changed the game for amusement parks in the year 2012 when Universal Studios opened up Universal's Islands of Adventure. As you can see there, this park has been voted the #1 theme park in the world for 5 years in a row. I believe that possibly is changing to 6 now, but it's been popular basically ever since they really expanded and got that Wizarding World of Harry Potter added to the park. So at Wizarding World of Harry Potter, if you haven't been, it's very much like the set of the movie. So it's an immersive experience where you feel as though you're in the movie. And I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so I don't know all of the terminology. So excuse me if I don't get that right, but they do have there's a candy store, and I forget the name of it now. But if you guys want to put it in the chat, you can let me know. But they have like the candy store. They have like the mail, the post office where you can go and write a letter. So they have a lot of cool experiences that you would see in the movies. So those are some great features, and they do have butterbeer. So just some cool things that you can experience inside that land, and a lot of them are also available on the Diagon Alley side as well. Obviously, it's Diagon Alley themed. The Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey is the ride that you'll see on the picture there. It's inside the castle. And the queue line, the wait line to get into that ride is a cool experience in itself. They have like the hall of portraits and they're all like interactive and they'll talk to each other and stuff. So it's kind of cool. So you're not just in a generic queue line for that ride. There's a whole experience that goes along with it. So it's really cool to see. So I see Kate asked what butterbeer is. So actually butterbeer is it is a non-alcoholic beverage that is butterscotch flavored. And they have a frozen version of it, and then they also have it where it's cold and it's, I believe, served with ice. I had the frozen version when I went, but it is a very popular beverage that you can get, and they have carts that are throughout the Wizarding World of Harry Potter area, the Hogsmeade area, and they have like they have mentioned here, they're in like a frozen mug. So it's just a cool experience, cool drink that you can get right in the park. So we also have the Hogwarts Express train ride that goes between the two parks. So if you're gonna have the park to park option on your ticket, you can ride the Hogwarts Express train ride, which takes you between the parks. And you're sitting in a cart just like you would on the train that you would see the Hogwarts Express on the movies. And they have like a virtual world around you that's really cool to see. Jurassic Park River Adventure is also featured at Islands of Adventure. So just to give you, I guess, go back a bit and a brief overview of what Islands of Adventure, the theming is. So the idea is there's like a pond or a small lake in the middle of the park. And then they have built these worlds around it, these islands around it, and they're all themed. So one of them is you'll see is like Dr. Seuss themed. You'll have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Jurassic Park. So there's like 5 different themes that you're going to walk through as you go through this park. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk coaster, which will be in like the comic section of the park. One of the islands is more comic themed. You might be a little confused about why they have Hulk and Spider-Man. And again, I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel universe and all of that. But some of them are featured because before they were all bought by each other, before Disney bought certain ones, they all had certain rights to it. So some of those rides are still featured in Universal's Islands of Adventure Park. Cat in the Hat, part of the sorry, it just escaped me, but Cat in the Hat is a children's ride, part of the Dr. Seuss world, and then there's Dudley Do Rides Ripsaw Falls. Again, that's kind of at the beginning of the comic section, and there's Skull Island, Reign of Kong. That's one of my favorite rides at the park, and Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. That is the newest ride that they added, I believe, in 2019. And it was they had tore down a couple of the previous attractions. There's another roller coaster there, and some other stuff that they had to tear down to put in that ride. It's in the Hogsmeade section of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. All right, and then the next park I'm going to feature is the Volcano Bay, and this is Universal's newest park, and it was opened in 2017. It has over 19 rides and attractions, more than any other water park in Central Florida. And I'm not going to go through this list of names because I wouldn't be able to say them probably correctly. However, they have, like I said, lots of different rides. There's some tubing experiences. There's a wave pool. There's a lot of slides. You can rent cabanas here, private cabanas, while you're in the park. And one of the really cool features about this park, because it's newer and with the technology, everyone that goes to this park gets a wristband, and on that wristband, basically it automatically has a feature for like fast passes. So if you want to go ride a ride, but you don't want to wait in line, you can scan your wrist band and you can get in the queue for that line. It'll tell you when that ride becomes available to you. It also is your the name of the band is called Tapu Tapu, and it has also the features to do your payments. And so anything that you spend in the park, you can link your account to it, a credit card, through your Universal account, and then it will schedule, make those payments for you right to your account, so that you don't have to have cash while you're in the park. So you can put your stuff away, in a locker, and then that wristband basically takes care of all of that for you. Also, a lot of the rides that have tubes and stuff like that, you don't have to actually carry them up. Many of the water parks, you have to go get your own tube and carry it to the start of the ride. They have all of that stuff ready for you, so when you're in line, they try to make it as seamless as possible, so that all you have to do is just go to get in line and enjoy the attraction. You don't have to worry about carrying around a bunch of tubes and stuff. All right, is the wristband just for Volcano Bay? Yes, at this time, the wristband is only at Volcano Bay. And so if you have a wristband, do you not need an app to schedule ride times like Disney? So the wristband, like I said, is only for Volcano Bay, and it's only while you're within that park. They haven't moved that technology yet to the other parks. There is one other ride that has a similar feature, and it's the Jimmy Fallon ride. You do not have to, so you'll go into a building. It is much like, it's actually built almost identical to 30 Rock. So if you're familiar with New York and that show, the executives actually came to check it out, and they said it looks just like the building 30 Rock in New York. So you'll, before you enter the building, they will give you a little piece of, I think it's laminated paper, but it's a feather, and it's a certain color. So when you go into the attraction, have like a lobby where you can sit, and they have couches and stuff. They also have one of the mascots from the show. That was when I was there. They did, and it was, I think it was a panda bear, and it just walked around and kind of like interacted with all of the guests. And then what happens is the color of the feather that you get, the room will change colors when your group is ready to go. So they have a lot of showcase items from past hosts of the show that you can go walk around and look at. So it's kind of more of a, again, you're not standing in a line, you have more of a relaxed experience inside the building. And then once then every 15 minutes or so, the lights will change to the color, and that gets you into the queue, and you'll be on that ride within 15 minutes or so. So that's kind of the idea, that that people really enjoyed that, and that's the success of that, is what they're trying to bring to other rides, and what they're also, how they developed the Volcano Bay experience. So hopefully that kind of answers your question about the wristband. So that's only for it's called Tapu Tapu, and it's only in Volcano Bay at this time. They don't have like scheduled ride times at Universal like they do at Disney. So there's not a fast pass system. You would just have your general wait line. There are express passes, and we'll get to that here in a little bit when we start talking about the tickets and their features. Obviously with COVID, a lot of things have been delayed, and for new things that are coming, new developments in the parks and stuff. But this appears to be coming in summer of 2021. So here in the next few months, we will see announcements of likely for the Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure in Jurassic World. So this is just one of the pictures that I wanted to feature, so that there is a new ride coming here soon at Universal. And there is a new park called Epic Universe in the works, again with COVID delaying everything. This was projected to possibly be coming in the next 5 years or so. I can see that possibly will be pushed back now, but it is something that was in the works. So we'll see what develops for Epic Universe here in the future. So next, I wanted to go over some of the COVID-19 safety guidelines, because there are some things that will be changing as you visit the parks and the resorts. But I just wanted to go over some basics. I do have the link here to all of their safety tips and frequently asked questions. So at the top of this presentation, you can see that. If you're on the call and you want the slides with this information, just send us an email and we'll get that to you. But this is also being recorded, so it'll be shared on our Vimeo page later. If you want to get this information later, we'll have that featured on our website once we get it all edited and everything, probably within the next week or two. And so here we have, obviously they're going to require face coverings, and I'm going to cover more about that here in a little bit. Temperature checks will be required at the resorts as well as in the parks. They're recommending that you wash your hands often, and they do have stations set up throughout the parks and throughout the different public areas so that you can do that. They obviously recommend social distancing, and all of this is in accordance with CDC guidelines. They also will have floor markings that'll show you, where when you're waiting in queue lines, stuff like that, to remind you stay 6 feet apart. They're recommending to use hand sanitizer when required. They do have them before riding certain vehicles, certain rides. Please follow member directions. So if there's a team member who asks you to follow the procedures, please adhere to those, and avoid contact with people who are sick. So some of these are kind of obvious, but some people need to be reminded. Basically, I guess this is more so for the resorts, but if you they're limiting capacity, following social distancing guidelines throughout all attractions, restaurants, and shops throughout the destination. There's an increase in already aggressive cleaning and disinfection procedures, and frequently cleaning all high-touch surfaces. So these are measures that they're putting in place. All team members are undergoing temperature checks as well, and they are also wearing face coverings. And then all of their team members are also trained. Angel, who works in our office, visited Universal Orlando during COVID, and she stayed at the Aventura Hotel. So I got a little bit of firsthand knowledge of what kind of things that they were going through during that time. So basically, one of the things is you're not going to get your usual cleaning every day. So if you do want new bedding or new stuff, they will bring it to your room. Actually, they just needed some more coffee or something simple like that delivered to their room, and it wasn't delivered by a person, it was delivered by a robot. So in some cases, the Aventura is a newer property, so they are very tech savvy. It's kind of the theming of that resort, and so that was where they were staying at that time, and they had a robot that delivered their items to their room. So that was kind of a cool experience to see, to hear about. One of the other things that I did not feature here yet is that there is a capacity control for Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And it is recommended that if you're going to go to the parks, especially on weekends or possibly during the summer when it's going to get busier, or during holiday timeframes, spring break timeframes, you get there as soon as you can in the day, even before they open, because there is a capacity and it is being reached quite often, as more people are traveling. So hopefully, as restrictions with COVID getting better, if they are able to, raise that capacity, hopefully that'll be happening here soon. But as of right now, there are times that they are not even allowing people into their parking lots. They will stop you before you even get to the parks. I do recommend downloading the app, because they're going to have that information uploaded into their app, so that you can get that information before you get to the parks and are disappointed that you won't be able to go in. They will, as people leave throughout the day, they may update and say, hey, we now have openings to come in. So just be aware of that, and all of that information will be featured on the app and on their website, I do believe, as well. This here is going back to face coverings. Like I copied the same information. 1 second here. All right, so here's going to be some face covering guidelines. Also, there is a risk that comes if you're to get of making a reservation. So just know that there is assumption of risk that you could contract COVID by being in the parks, and you could be exposed during your visit. So just as a disclaimer. Face guidelines. So children under age of 3 are exempt, and then also required to wear them until the eating or drinking. And when designated, you rest face covering rural areas. So you have areas throughout the park that you can step aside and take a breather, have your mask off. One other very important recommendation to mask wearing is that please with you encounter rides that you will get wet. It may be sweaty. You are in Florida, so please make sure that you have multiple masks with you while you are in the park, because it will just make your experience that much better. They do have obviously masks for sale at their gift shops, but if you don't want to spend money on those extra things, then make sure you bring a few masks with you per person. Just an important thing. So your face your mask must cover your nose and your mouth and be secured under your chin. It must fit snugly against the sides of your face and be secured with ear loops or secured around your head. They do allow gaiters at Universal, so that is an option. Not permitted. Face coverings with exhalation valves, face coverings that are not secured with ear loops or secured around your head, face coverings that include mesh material or holes of any kind, costume masks or veils. Per their costume guidelines, you couldn't wear those anyway before COVID. And face coverings that are unable to be secured under your chin, such as bandanas. Sorry, we have to go over this stuff, but it is important to know before you go. One other point, if you're worried about the capacity issue, if you are a resort guest at one of their on-site properties, then you do not have to worry about the capacity issue because you are already counted in that count. So that's one way to be guaranteed a spot into the parks, is to be a resort guest. You can book your resort guest reservations through our office as well. Here is the information on the app so that you can place your food and drink orders from select restaurants. You can get in virtual lines. That's for if you leave the park and need to return, but they're at capacity, it'll let you know when you can enter the park. So all of that information, you can set up your Tapu Tapu, as I mentioned, through the app. And you can also purchase tickets and other, other attractions that are available through the app as well. All right, so we're going to move on to some more exciting stuff. The resorts at Universal Studios. There are currently 8 resorts to choose from: Loews Royal Pacific Resort, Hard Rock Hotel, and Loews Portofino Bay. Those are their premier properties, deluxe, what I call their deluxe properties. We also have Loews Sapphire Falls, which is their mid-level moderate resort, their Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and Universal's Aventura Hotel. And those are their premier value resorts. And then Endless Summer Resort, Dockside and Surfside. Those are their newest 2 resorts that just opened. One opened just in the fall of last year. It got delayed due to COVID a bit. It was supposed to open last spring, but it got pushed back until the fall. And Surfside opened at the end of 2019. Now, 3 of these resorts are currently closed: Sapphire Falls, Surfside, and I believe Portofino. But they're going to they have plans of reopening here soon. So it's just COVID is restricting some of their capacity, and so they have some of these closed currently. But they are taking reservations for later in the year already. We've had multiple quotes that are coming out for. I believe like Sapphire Falls is opening in June or July. So if you're going later in the year, then we can get those resorts booked for you. All right, so this is going to talk about each resort individually now. Los Portofino Bay. So this resort is their most premier property, the most luxurious property on site. And it has a theme of Portofino, Italy. It was actually partially developed by Steven Spielberg because he used to vacation in Portofino, so he helped design this property. And if you see, you'll see in their lobby, they have a picture of Portofino, Italy, and it looks almost identical to the resort itself. It's a large resort, beautiful rooms, and lots of really nice restaurants and features at the resort. It does have a spa at this resort as well. So if you're the type that likes spas, this is a great property for you. One of the other cool features is that I believe this resort still has the specialty Starbucks at it. So if you are looking for kind of a unique Starbucks experience, they do have this at the Starbucks where you can. They have when they do test product runs and stuff like that. This Starbucks will get it before the other Starbucks. So it's kind of a cool feature of this resort. And we're going to be moving on, I believe, to Hard Rock Hotel. Yes. So the Hard Rock Hotel is another premier property at Universal, and it has an amazing pool. It's the closest to Universal's Islands of Adventure. It's a short, like not even 5-minute walk from the property to the entrance of Universal Studios. Sorry, I take that back. I believe it's Universal Studios. So it's right close to that. One of the cool features of this property is the pool. They do play music at the pool, and it actually is under the water. So if you go underwater, you can hear the music playing at this pool. But this resort does tend to be I found it to be a little loud, like in the lobby and everything. The rooms and stuff aren't, but it's got the Hard Rock theme. So if you've ever been to a Hard Rock restaurant, they have that rock and roll feel to it, and there is usually music and stuff playing. So, but it is a cool property. It's actually one of my favorites that I've visited when I was there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put those in the public chat for anyone who has joined us. So again, this is just a overview of the amenities, and there's 650 rooms at this property, including 29 suites, complimentary Wi-Fi in guest rooms and public areas. And then these premier hotels do have concierge services as well. So, and many of them also have so this is another feature that's kind of nice. In the lobbies, they have a desk for our military members that need to activate tickets. You can go to that desk and have your tickets activated right at the resort. And that way you don't have to go into the actual guest services at the park and wait in line there. You can do it right in the resort lobby. And that's for DoD employees as well, who have to activate with the military ID for the military promo tickets. So those are available to you as well. Lowe's Royal Pacific is it's a Pacific themed resort. And again, so I forgot to mention this, one of the features of the deluxe premier properties is that you get the unlimited express pass included with your stay. Those unlimited express passes generally run starting at $89.99 per person, and the price goes up as they sell. So if you're going to be going over spring break and people are the general public that's not staying at one of these resorts wants to purchase the unlimited express pass, that price I've seen it go during spring break and Christmas as high as $159.99. So if you have 4 in your period, and you would normally, let's just say they paid that $150 price, that would be a $600 value for each day that you were staying at that resort. So your first day of your stay plus your checkout day of your stay are included. That means you would have a $1,200 value during that spring break stay. And during spring break, we've been pricing quotes for hotel room nights around $500 to $550. So you're getting a $1,200 value just in express passes for around $550 for staying at one of these deluxe properties. And that will be featured here in a little bit as well, going through our options for our tickets and our vacation packages. There are 1,000 guest rooms at this property. It's typically the lowest price for the premier properties, but sometimes it just depends on occupancy. Sometimes it is a little bit more. I've seen Portofino be the least expensive. It just depends on, like I said, what time of the year you're going and what the occupancy is. Low Sapphire Falls is the next resort, and this is one of their newer resorts. It is a beautiful property, and it has the largest pool on site, and I believe in all of Central Florida. So they also have some amazing nachos here. They also, I believe, have those nachos at the Royal Pacific Resort as well. I've seen them there. So huge tray of nachos, and it is quite popular. People go there just to get them. There's over 1,000 rooms here, including 83 suites, and it also is connected to their convention center. So if you happen to be there for a conference, then you're the closest to the convention center if you stay at this property. This property is also very close to Aventura as well as Cabana Bay resorts, so they're all walkable to each other. This resort is got about a 15-minute walk to the resorts, and it also has the only other resort other than the deluxe properties that has the water taxi service. All of the value properties are only by shuttle bus only. So all of the resorts do feature shuttle service to the parks, but those offer a water taxi option. Yes, Andrew, the level of nacho is very important. All I can say is when we were on our training and there was a group of us and we're sitting there like very hungry, watching these guests go by with these huge plates of nachos wasn't very fair to us. So Cabana Bay Beach Resort is one of my favorite properties on site, and I have actually stayed in this property. And it is very retro themed. They've actually expanded this resort quite a bit since it first opened. They now have a tower section of the resort that has more family suites in it, overlooks the Volcano Bay water park. So there's awesome views from that portion of the resort. Two large pools on property. I believe the next sheet will tell me, but I believe there's like over 3,000 rooms at this resort now, with all of the expansions that they have done. So, oh, it says 2,200. So maybe it's only 2,200. So over 2,000 guest rooms. But they have a bowling alley on this property. This was the first property to feature a Starbucks. So when the Portofino guests were like, well, why don't we get a Starbucks? Well, they put one on Portofino, but they also upgraded the type of Starbucks that resort got. So this resort actually does 40% off for military members, where all of the other resorts do up to 30% off. So if you're able to get a military rate at this resort, it's going to be a pretty good rate. And like I said, they do offer shuttle service to the parks for free. If you stay at all of the resorts, you also get early park admission. Usually it's 1 hour early to either Volcano Bay or Islands of Adventure. One of the cool features of Cabana Bay too, their fitness center is because it's retro themed, it has a Jack LaLanne theme to it, and they'll even have like his video with the chair exercises that he used to do on TV. So kind of a cool experience there. Universal's Aventura Hotel, like I said, very modern, very techy, and has some really cool features to it. One of the cool features of this resort is that at the top of the resort, it does have a outdoor bar on the roof, and has some of the best views of any of the resorts that you can see. Even if you stay up in the towers of the resort, they have some of the best views of all of the parks. Like I said, it's actually right next door to Sapphire Falls and across the road from Cabana Bay. So those three resorts are all within walking distance of each other. And there are 600 guest rooms here. And just so you know, too, all of the resorts, if you do have a rental car or drive, do have a parking fee, and the fee is based on the level of resort. So you're going to pay more. I believe it's like around $28 at the Premier properties. I think the Prime value properties or the value properties, it's going to run you around $18 per day, and I think Sapphire Falls is around $23. And then the next resort that will be featured will be the Endless Summer. Like I said, these are the two newest resorts, the Dockside and Surfside Inn and Suites. A big portion of these suites are, they have family suites in them, or suites that sleep up to 6 people. So if you do have a larger family or have the parents coming with, grandparents coming with you, then it's a nice option. And I've been consistently getting quotes for around $100 to $120 per night for these resorts, which is a great deal, considering they're brand new and have some really cool features at them as well. The only thing that this resort does not have in it, and then I apologize about this, but it wasn't my decision. They do not have coffee makers in the rooms at these resorts. So if you want coffee, they do have that available at their. They have like cafe at the lobby, but they don't have that in the room. So it's the only thing about this resort that if you're a coffee drinker, they do not have coffee makers in the rooms at these resorts. The one thing that our Universal rep made sure that we knew about these properties. And as you can see, they're quite large, so there are quite a few rooms at these properties as well. And if you guys ever want any of these information sheets, we can get them for you. They are available to us as agents, so we can get you some of these as well. As you can see, there's 390 two-bedroom suites and 360 standard rooms. at Surfside, and quite a few more at Dockside and in Suites. It looks like, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this on my screen because it's so small, but it looks like 937 standard rooms and looks like over 1,000, if I'm not correct, two-bedroom suites. And these are considered their value properties. All right, so now I believe next we're going to go through the Wizarding World of Harry Potter exclusive vacation package. So we have a military Wizarding World of Harry Potter exclusive package available to us. It includes hotel, your tickets, and exclusive entitlements. A minimum of 3 nights on this package. You can book anytime now through December 27th and travel through December 31st of 2020. And it will include your 2-park or 3-park Freedom Passes, which will be featured here shortly. It also comes with a special theme keepsake box. A welcome letter is included, travel planning guide, a set of 3 luggage tags, and a Hogwarts Railways lanyard, and that's 1 of each of those per room. And this is going to basically repeat, but this package is available for non-military as well. And it also includes the 3 broomsticks and Leaky Cauldron and the Shutterbuttons photography studio session. So there's a special price on that. If you want that package, when you're booking your resort, just let us know. So here is a sample itinerary and package that we're putting together for a family. It's a family of 4 with 2 adults and 2 children, ages 7 and 12. And they will be arriving September 20th and checking out on September 25th, 2021. And it's going to include round-trip transportation from Universal Superstar Shuttle, as well as quick service dining plan for 4 days with unlimited drink cup included, and unlimited express passes for 4 days at the express properties. So you'll see a note on the next slide of what the additional cost will be for those people that don't get that included. And then early park admission is included with all Universal vacation bookings. And then for this example, we are going to be including the Freedom Pass for the military and for the DoD employee, but for the non-DoD section, it's going to be a 3-park, 4-day park-to-park ticket because they don't offer that Freedom Pass to the general public. So here is a example of what it would cost for the general public, for a DoD employee, and for a military. Now, I do have to do a disclaimer here about the DoD employee pricing, because currently the way that they do the DoD employee pricing is based on whatever the current rate is at the resort or what other promotion at the resort may be available. So the general public and the DoD employee actually have the same price for their room. So because there's a discount going on currently called the Stay More, Save More rate, and that DoD employee gets access to that price. The major difference right now in pricing of all of these is the pricing of the tickets. And but it just happens to be that those are the dates that we chose and for this, and so different dates could have different pricing altogether. And military is generally going to have the best price all the time. But I just wanted to explain that because it can vary based on the dates of travel. But the major savings that that the DoD employee and military employee are getting is that they are saving a lot on the tickets. So also, if you stay at Loews Portofino Bay, as I mentioned, you will see here that if with the Loews Portofino, you're getting $1,799 worth of unlimited express passes automatically included, with your stay, that you would be paying possibly $88.99 or more for, depending on the time of year. So that's what it would be if you're paying the $89.99 price for that unlimited express pass. So that is included for free. You would need to add that $17.99.80 to the other resort prices. And as you can see, that would cost more than a deluxe property, and you wouldn't necessarily even choose that option. You would want to go with the deluxe premier property. So I hope I explained this slide a little bit clearly, but I think it might be a little more clear here when I go to the next slide, which is going to, I believe, talk about the tickets and why you're saving so much on the tickets. So military promotional tickets are, this year they're calling them a Freedom Pass. And this ticket is either a 2-park or 3-park ticket. And it allows you to go into the park every day of the year for 2021. So if you want to go, over spring break, your ticket is also good for the rest of the year. So you can go back as many times as you want. You can go back in September, or if you want to do another family holiday over Christmas, you can do that as well. So this ticket is good until December 31st of 2021, and you can use it basically as an annual pass to go to the park as many times as you want for $200 for adults, $195 for children for the 2-park ticket. For the 3-park ticket, it is $235 and $230, so only $35 more, and you include Volcano Bay with that ticket. As you could see from the previous slide, the pricing that we did for the guests in the general public column, they only got a 4-day ticket. So you're getting a lot better value for your ticket with the military. So that price included, I'm sorry, I'm seeing some questions here now. How many guests do those totals from the previous slide include, or was that per guest? That is a total cost for that reservation of 2 adults and the 2 children. So the 12-year-old and the 7-year-old. Just so everyone also knows, child is considered ages 3 to 9. So for any pricing for meals or for tickets or anything extra, a child that is 12 is considered an adult. All right, yep, thanks, Kevin. So yes, that price, and that price also included dining. So that is a really good deal for a family of 4. And I can go back to that slide just to show everyone again. I mean, a family of 4 to have your quick service meal. A quick service meal is only 1 meal, but it also includes a snack as well as a beverage. And just so everyone knows, a butter beer is considered a premium beverage, and you can get that as part of that extra the extra snack, I believe, in your package. So and that would generally cost you $7.99, but it's included with that package. So so to have your room, your express passes, your tickets, all included, as well as early park admission, your shuttle service to and from the parks, all included for that just over $3,000 price is an amazing deal. The military member does have to be with the party. So so the military member can purchase up to 6 tickets. If the military member has a spouse, the spouse can also purchase up to 6 tickets. So they can purchase up to a total of 12. Disney only allows 6 for the military member. Their spouse cannot purchase 6. Now, if the military member is deployed or deceased, and so the spouse still has the perks of the dependent ID, then they are able to also still purchase the 6 tickets until they remarry and lose that privilege. But as long as they are still widowed and have that ID, they can purchase 6. The 6 is including the military member, correct. So the military member has to purchase one with their name, and they can bring 5 guests with them. They can also allow their spouse can also purchase one in their name, and it brings 5 additional guests. So if you have a large family that wants to join you, you can purchase up to 6. The military rate at the resorts is only good for active and retired active military. I don't believe it includes retired as well. They would go under whatever the DoD employee does. But if you're active military, because it's the resorts are owned by Loews Hotels, and Loews Hotels sets the rules on that. Universal doesn't. So that's why. I believe Cabana Bay is the only resort that Universal directly owns, and they, which is why they offer, I believe, a little bit more for the military discount, but they go by the same rule. So unfortunately, you do have to be active military to get the military discount. But they do get at the military discount rate for DoD. So that's a kind of a nice perk that Disney does not allow. Sorry, I just went over the Express Pass. And we had already talked about the express passes, so that allows you to skip the line privileges in the parks. Universal dining options, again, here's the universal dining plan. It is only available for resort reservations. So it's the full service dining plan that can only be booked with your package if you're staying at a resort. The quick service dining plan and the quick service with the Coca-Cola Freestyle cup, those can be booked by anyone. And I have a slide here with some pricing. Portion sizes are, you will have plenty of food, Cynthia. Food at Universal is great. So yes, I just got an example on our presentation, our agent presentation, just a couple days ago, and it was ribs that were included with the quick service meal. So you could get you get your rib, you get your entree. For the quick service meal, you get your entree and a drink. For the full service meal, you get your entree, a drink, and dessert. So it's large portions as well. Every time I've been there, I've had more food. Like most of the time we actually have leftover food. So plenty of food. These are the pricings for the dining plans. And one thing that's great about Universal is you can purchase the dining plan as you want it. You don't have to buy the package every day. So if you only want it for 2 days of your stay, you can buy the package for just 2 days if you want, even if you're there for 7. I think we're getting towards the end here. Oh, yeah, I just wanted to feature City Walk. So Blue Man Group is actually no longer with Universal Studios. They pulled their contract at the beginning of this month, but I looked and they don't have any updated imagery for that. So ignore. Blue Man Group is no longer available at Universal City Walk. But they have a lot of resort or a lot of restaurants, and they have like a pop-up golf course, a movie theater, lots of bars. They have a karaoke session. This is a cool place at night to visit. Or if you just have a day that you want to kind of relax, but you still want to, have that Universal experience, you can go to City Walk. Some of the bars and restaurants do have cover charges at night, but if you have a ticket for the park, then you do not have to pay the cover charges. So also there are special events throughout the year at Universal. Mardi Gras and the holidays are included with your cost. There isn't usually an additional fee for that. Halloween Horror Nights does have a fee. It's a separate ticket. They close down one of the parks in the evening and turn it into basically a Halloween themed. They have all kinds of, they set up like a dozen different haunted houses to go through on their lots. So it's a really cool experience, but it is a separate ticketed event, and we do sell those tickets. And then the Rock the Universe is a religious themed event that usually happens, I believe, during the summer. And it is separately ticketed, and it is a lot of Christian bands and stuff like that. All right, so we have reached the end of the presentation. I know we got a little bit rushed there towards the end, but I thank everyone for joining us. And does anybody have any questions? You can also send me an email if you have any questions. Let me scroll down here. Is the meal plan good for restaurants and eateries in the parks and City Walk too? I'm gonna tell you to refer to the website for a list of all of the restaurants, because not all of them are included with the plan. So there are some that I believe are in City Walk that are included, but not all of them are. So you can go to their website to get the full list of that. And I have access to that as well. I just, sorry, I don't know that off the top of my head, which ones are all included, because it changes. So, but their restaurants and stuff that are on City Walk are great as well. I've eaten at a few of them. So, do we have any more questions about Universal? I'll give you a couple more minutes here if you want to type. I'm not sure if we can open up the mics at all. Is that possible, Kate?
I think they should be able to.
Okay.
I don't have anybody muted.
Okay. If anybody wants to hop on and ask a question, you can do that as well. All right. Well, I'm not seeing anything else coming through, so you can see my contact information there. I am teleworking currently. However, Angel is in the office, so she has actually, as I said, visited Universal a couple times in the last couple years. So she has even more up-to-date probably information than I do about her direct experiences with going. And she also, like I said, went during COVID. And so she'd be able to give you some information about, the requirements and what they do for their safety protocols. But if you have any questions at all, yes, this presentation will be available afterward. So there is a link on our website that will take you to our Vimeo page to be able to view this presentation, and it'll probably be available within the next week or two. I know Kate has to kind of do a little bit of editing, but it's a nice presentation. It's just a video that you'll see it just as you saw it here again. But like I said, you can call me or send me an email at any time, and we'll be happy to give you the information that we need. I will say that we are very, very busy with people wanting to go. I think we have a lot of pent up travel that people, want to get out there and start some vacationing. So our office has been inundated with a lot of calls and a lot of emails. So if we're a little bit delayed getting to you, just be aware that there's a lot of people that are coming through right now trying to get some information. So please be a little bit patient with us right now, especially right ahead of spring break time frame. But we will get to you as soon as we can, and we appreciate you guys reaching out to us to help you with your vacation needs. All right, I think we're gonna end the presentation here, and we will look forward to hearing from you here in the future.
Thanks so much, Stephen.